Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of GameHammer Dailies, where we're going to look at a different game every day, have a good review of it, a good play with it, and then see what we think. Today's first episode, we're going to go straight in with something fantastic. It's a bit of old school, but it's also a bit of new school. It's Geometry Wars. Let's take a look at it. Back in the early 2000s, I'd recently left university and had a lot of free time on my hands, so I was happy to jump back into gaming in a big way. I already had a PlayStation 2, I got that in my third year of university, mostly as a DVD player, but also because Grand Theft Auto 3 had come out and I needed to get me some of that action. But the lineup of games for the PS2 just wasn't cutting it for me anymore. Oh, how the times have changed. The GameCube had been a fun console to play in my free time at uni. My housemate in my third year picked one up, and we spent many a fun-packed evening playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, but at this stage of my life, the GameCube had all but disappeared from the shelves of the local gaming shop. So now, I was looking to expand my horizons, and I didn't see it as a viable option. Then, I saw Blinx the Time Sweeper on the gargantuan Xbox, and I was smitten. Platformers were my thing back in the days of the Amstrad CPC, and even my early years on the PC, thanks to games like Duke Nukem and Commander Keen. The chance to play what looked to be a pretty decent one in 3D, with a fun time mechanic too, that was too much to pass up. So I bought an Xbox and a copy of Blinx, and I went to town. A year or so later, and I was looking for something new. A friend and I were in town wandering around a branch of GameStation. That's one of several game sellers that just didn't survive the Great Recession, when we came across an intriguing package. An Xbox Live starter set that came with a complete copy of Project Gotham Racing 2. Well, I already had a copy of PGR 1, and we had been playing that game to death the weekend prior, so this seemed like a no-brainer, right? I thought so, and I immediately bought it. Now, we'll be covering PGR 2 at a later date, I have no doubt about that, but today I want to talk about a fun little game that is hidden in plain sight inside Project Gotham 2. It's a frenetic, twin-stick shooter in the vein of Robotron or Smash TV, only with the visual trappings of an Asteroids clone. Its name? Geometry Wars. Finding a game like this inside a frenetic racing game was quite a surprise. I was wandering around the garage of PGR2 one day when a friend spotted the arcade machine in the background. We walked over to it and took a look. It looked like it was just a background detail, maybe something that harked back to the developer's early days in gaming. But the thing is, it could be selected just like the cars in the garage. Was this some sort of Easter egg, I wondered? Is it going to be a joke car? Can you actually drive this arcade around the track as a kind of comedy thing? Well, we didn't know, so we tried it out. We selected the machine as if we were choosing to drive a car, and the game changed. What we found was one of the best twin-stick shooters that I have ever played. It was a fun little game, a brilliantly fast-paced shooter that reminded me of action-packed games like Smash TV, which I used to love back in my 8-bit and arcade days. The game itself is simple. You play a small white shape, a stylized C with a shield around it that will disappear pretty damn quick, so you better keep your wits about you. Other geometric shapes of various colours will attack you, and you need to shoot them before they hit you. Very simple plot, but all of the best arcade games have this level of beautiful simplicity. I played this game for hours back in the time, but when later games came along, I moved away from it, and it was lost in a pile of gaming greats that came after it. In the end, it became something I kinda remembered, but couldn't have told you which game I found it in. For a while, I thought it was the bonus game on CJ's console in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, but that turned out to be the far poorer joke game They Came From Uranus. So that was quite a disappointment when I went to check it out. Skip forward a decade, and suddenly I was face to face with Geometry Wars once again, but this time it was on the Wii. Now, a lot of people diss the Wii. They see it as a shovelware console full of awful games aimed at kids and people who don't know any better. But it's not that. Not really. There are loads of brilliant games available for the Wii if you take the time to check it out properly, and Geometry Wars is one of them. Geometry Wars Galaxies is actually the third game in the series, but I didn't know that when I picked it up. It doesn't matter though, it's one of those brilliant games that doesn't require you to have played any of the previous titles in the series in order to fully get into it. You can pick this one up without ever having played a Geometry Wars game before, and you'll have great fun with it. The game is quite different this time around though. You're still the same sea ship as before, only now you have a little drone guy following you around. You'll get different types of drone with different ways of working as you go through the game, but I kinda like the first one that I got. It's the attack drone. It helps you fight the enemy shapes, which is really useful in a tight spot. Oh my goodness, the swarms are harder, the swarms are harder! Which button's the bomb? I don't think it's possible to hate this game, it is so much fun. The game area is much smaller in Galaxies than it was in the original, and it makes the pace so much quicker, as well as making for a far more intense game. Galaxies is an amazing level of fun, with new enemies to complement the old ones, and a brilliant, if simple, soundtrack to keep you in the zone. I really, really love it. What I also love is that Galaxies also contains the best of the series, or at least the best that I've played so far. On the main menu, there's an option of playing Geometry Wars Retro Evolved. It only lets you play the Evolved version though, but that's more than enough. Geometry Wars Retro Evolved is the original Geometry Wars from the arcade in Project Gotham Racing 2, plus an enhanced version, the Evolved mode, that's available through Galaxies on the Wii. Evolved is a visually stunning action game that is superb for breaking out of parties because anyone, and I do mean absolutely anyone, can get to grips with it right away. Plus, it looks amazing for anyone that's sitting and watching. I cannot recommend Evolved enough. It's superb, fast-paced, brilliant fun, and it turns out that I already had it on the Xbox 360. I never bought it when it was first released on Xbox Live Arcade, but several months before I'd picked up a second-hand copy of Galaxies, I had finally managed to get my hands on Xbox Live Arcade Unplugged, a compilation of games and demos for the Xbox 360. I had bought that disc because it had a full copy of Bejeweled 2 on it, and until a few weeks ago I had never looked at any of the other games on the disc. I literally just bought it to play Bejeweled 2, which is a game I adore. But Geometry Wars Retro Evolved is right there on the disc, the full game. So, remembering how much I had enjoyed the original on PGR2 and also how much I had enjoyed Galaxies, I selected this game and jumped right in. I lost the rest of the night to Geometry Wars Retro Evolved, and that's no joke. It's everything the original was, literally in the case of the retro mode since it pretty much is the original, and it's so much more in Evolved mode. That's the one that's in the Wii game, and it's just as good here. Playing it on the Xbox 360 actually improves the game in my opinion. Instead of moving with the nunchuck and aiming a targeting line with the Wiimote as you do on the Wii, the Xbox 360 version goes for a return to the original's roots. You move with the left thumbstick and fire with the right thumbstick. It's simple, it's effective, and it works so well that it's intuitive. Aiming with the Wiimote and moving with the nunchuck, it works, it's just not quite as intuitive. Galaxies has a kind of story mode to it. You have objectives to meet, and meeting those will take you on to the next stage. It's fun, and it keeps the game fresh by changing what's going on from stage to stage. That's not the case in Retro Evolved. This is the pure arcade experience. If you're doing well, the game will continue. If you're not doing well, it just ends. The whole experience is there on the screen from the start. It's all about the high score. You keep going until you run out of lives, and whoever has the highest score at the end of the day wins. That's it. That's all there is to it. And you know what? I love it for that. Sometimes you just need to drill a game down to the basics, and that's exactly what happens here. And there you are. Geometry Wars is one of those games that joins the styles of the old school with the styles of the new. It's got all the great trappings of visual delights, but it also has the classic arcade style of toughness and just one more game, go on, you know I'm good for it, just one more, that kind of effect. So, to be honest with you, I can't see a person who wouldn't like this if they like the arcades of the old style, but they also want to play it on a modern machine with the good thumbsticks or the Wiimote if you're into that. I think either way, you're going to find something really good with this one, so I recommend you give it a try. Okay, that's really all we've got time for this time, so I'll see you tomorrow for a different game, and if you did like this, remember to click that like button and subscribe for future videos because there will be more in the future. But that's all we've got time for today. I'll see you tomorrow for a different game.